For the first 2 years after I found personal development, I spent all my time watching content, being motivated, being inspired, and then doing nothing. I didn't apply anything that I learned. And I learned a lot. So by the time I met Jay, I was still at step one because I had consumed tons of amazing information, but without applying it, I was just jacking into motivational corn. So today, Jay and I are going to talk about that very thing, motivational corn and why it matters and all kinds of other stuff about it. So Jay, can you please define for us, because this is how we've been doing it lately, and I really like it when you do, explain or define, please explain to us what is motivational corn.
Okay, first of all, we're using corn to be a placeholder for another word that YouTube doesn't like, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so the audience watching, they can hear something else in their head.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we exchanged the C for the P and you're golden.
So as usual, there's probably some dictionary definition or something out there, but I aim to use and define the terms in the most commonly used way. And the most commonly used way people approach motivational corn is the equivalent of junk food or empty calories or pornography.
Okay, yeah.
But in the motivational self-help guru world. So in the nutrition world, you can have nourishing food that benefits you in major ways and contributes to your overall health and well-being. Or you can have junk food and empty calories that feel good in the short term, but really don't help your life that much overall and often detract from your life overall.
Right.
And in the sexuality world, you can have satisfying, fulfilling, high energy, high frequency intimacy with a real person, or you can get lost in a bunch of fluff videos churned out by people who don't care, possibly exploiting the performers, and you can get off that way.
Right.
And so you can see in most industries, there seems to be this view that some things are healthy and awesome and other things are terrible and bad. And the terrible bad ones are enticing and appealing quick dopamine hits in the short term that overall will harm you, whereas the healthy, nutritious, beneficial ones take discipline and are less appealing, but will ultimately elevate you. And so motivational corn is the junk food or empty calories or pornography of the self-help world. You could get real life coaching and real teaching and real therapy and real self-help and high quality stuff that elevates you and moves you to take action and change your life, or you can get empty, cheerleading, motivational, inspirational fluff that feels good as a quick dopamine hit in the moment and doesn't really help you and often keeps you away from your goals.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the common definition of motivational corn.
All right. So it's empty calories, empty calorie motivation.
Yeah, it's those fluff videos that are a quick hit of dopamine that don't really do much for you and probably were a waste of your time.
Yeah, like a lot of it was like the feeling of motivation, like that really intense feeling of excitement and I'm inspired. And then like I see this question a lot on Twitter is like, how do you stay motivated? How can I stay motivated? How can we motivate other people? But do you think it's even possible?
So we can get into all this stuff. I just want to point out that I'm not saying I agree with the definition,
okay,
or that everyone's right and using it right and everyone's labeling motivational corn correctly when they see it. I'm just saying this is what we're talking about in today's topic, in today's video. This is what people mean when they say motivational corn.
Yes.
They mean those empty fluff videos that motivate you for a split second kind of thing.
Yeah, and that don't really teach you very much.
Right. And as for your question, can we actually motivate ourselves or others? I would ask you as a parent, can you motivate a child or not?
I think it's possible to motivate temporary change, you know?
Have you ever motivated a child to do something?
Yeah, I've motivated them to clean their room, but I've not motivated them to keep it clean or to be more organized.
Right. So then are you really motivating them? Like what is motivation to you? Is it something fleeting and temporary that gets done for a split second and then disappears the moment you're gone? Is that motivation?
No.
Why or not?
No.
Like maybe that is motivation, but it's not inspiration. motivation, or maybe that is motivation, but it's a poor form of motivation or a non-permanent motivation, or you know what I mean? Like these terms get kind of hazy and people don't know how they're using them.
Fair play. Yeah.
So what's motivation to you, or what's motivation to most people? Like what's the common definition of motivation?
So I guess for me, and then we can agree if what you think about this is, for me, it's that feeling I get, the excitement I get, and the urge to do something about it. The urge to get up and clean my room, or get up and go do some outreach, or get up and, I don't know, meet more people. And, like in the moment, I feel motivated. Like I can do this. This is awesome. I got this.
Yeah. But when you were little and someone made you clean up your room or motivated you or offered you an allowance or whatever, did you really have that urge to get up and go clean your room? Or did you just do it as some mediocre attempt to get something else?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I did it just to shut the person up and just to kind of do it. Yeah. I wasn't really motivated to keep it clean or keep cleaning, or like I didn't jump up and go, okay, yeah, you're right. Let me go and clean it.
Yeah. So this is my point, is that I don't like motivation. I feel like motivation is a low quality vibe or emotion or approach to accomplishing anything.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you can't use it or it doesn't have a place. I would just always rather it be replaced by inspiration every time. If you ever show me motivation of any kind, I just look at it and think, man, I really wish that person was inspired to do this.
So perhaps that's what I mean because like what I was confusing motivation with, because I thought, getting that feeling and then going and doing something. But you're right. That's more inspiration than motivation.
Yeah, well, inspire, I think, has Latin roots. It's like spirit within, the indwelling of spirit. You are inspired from inside to do something that's in you, from your soul. And motivation is like moving something, right? Like moving others, get them to move others, move something. I think, I'm not 100% clear, but to me, an inspirational video that inspires someone to actually change their life is fantastic. A motivational video that just moves them to do something briefly and then they go back to their normal habits and routines is less ideal. But they both have their place.
Yeah. Well, some of those motivational videos only really inspire you to click the next video.
Well, to me, that's motivation.
Right. Okay, so
are you really inspired to click the next video, or are you on autopilot and
I'm motivated to click the next video? Right. If I was inspired, I'd be inspired to do something.
Right. So to me, there's a big, clear difference between motivation and inspiration, and it's not healthy or helpful for people to confuse them.
No, I love this. This is great. I'm glad we're being clear, because I was confusing them as well.
Yeah, so most people are.
Right. And so understanding the difference between these two is going to be really great for this conversation, and for people going forward to understand the difference between the content they're watching when they're motivated or versus inspired.
Yeah, I don't love spending the whole first 5 minutes on defining terms, but I've seen all the other discussions of this topic, and I know people will screw it up and be lost in the weeds and go nowhere, and it'll be a giant waste of a time or giant waste of a podcast if we don't define terms.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
For people who have never been taught this or thought this through or explained this or dug deep into this, exploring the difference between motivation and inspiration is a game changer for all the rest of the chat.
Yeah, agreed. Well, and for me going forward too, to understand the difference. So This is great.
So can you answer your question about motivating children, about like inspiring to clean their room versus motivating them to clean their room?
You can inspire them to clean their room.
Can you? Have you
I've never done it, but I'm sure there's somebody out there. You're super inspirational. I bet you could inspire my kids to clean their room.
Maybe.
I don't know. The old version of me wasn't able to inspire that. Perhaps now where I'm at, I might be able to.
Yeah, maybe.
I've not tried. So yeah.
Right. But most parents take a motivational approach.
Yes.
If you clean your room, I'll give you more allowance. If you clean your room, I'll make your favorite meal. If you don't clean your room, I'm going to punish you. If you don't clean your room, I'm going to threaten you. Like some motivational things. There's zero inspiration in any of this.
True.
And so then the kid does it temporarily until the parent leaves, and then the kid goes back to normal habits.
Right. Fair enough.
Right. And
Yeah.
so motivational porn,
Yeah. Well,
those motivational porn videos, what
those videos, they don't inspire anybody to do anything. So they just stay the same and they click more videos.
that may be true, but if you've looked at some of the comments and if you believe some of the comments, some of those videos have motivated people to change their life or inspired people to change their life. I don't know if those comments are true or just excited in the moment or what, but
Right.
it depends.
Okay.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it turn into fluff for some people that motivates them not at all or only briefly? But
So
doesn't it also seem to have inspired some of the people in the comments?
yes, it did. So perhaps it depends on the person and their level of the journey they're on. What level they're at, do they have self-awareness? Do they have discipline? Do they have consistency? And then they watch that video and it motivates them to continue with those things. Because for me now, when I see those videos, I get a way different reaction than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so before, when I didn't have any purpose, I didn't have a path forward, I took steps like getting up early and then I'd be like, now what? Up early, I worked out, I did some things, I watched some content, I feel motivated, I'm ready to go. Now what? And so now when I see that stuff, like I said, I feel more inspired to continue with my consistency and continue with my vision and my values and improving my security and my safety and all the things I'm working on personally. It just inspires me. It inspires me to continue with what I'm doing. So yeah, I think that has to depend on who you are as a person.
Sure. And isn't that the same for junk food? Sometimes it depends on who you are and where you're at in life and what your metabolism is and what your needs are. And like to a homeless dude, junk food could be a lifesaver.
It's true. That's true.
Right.
Okay.
And isn't it the same for pornography?
Yeah.
Maybe it improves your intimate relationships. Maybe it makes you more creative in the bedroom. Maybe it makes you happier or healthier or releases some stress or takes a violent man and makes him more gentle and peaceful and calm. Maybe there are some times where it's a useful, valuable, helpful thing. So all of these things that people like to slam and hate on, and even though I find them to be sometimes less ideal or often less ideal, doesn't mean they don't have a purpose and doesn't mean they haven't uplifted people and doesn't mean they're not contributing to the world's well-being.
Yeah, but I guess like anybody can take anything super positive and lovely and turn it into something that it's not meant to be.
And the opposite. Anyone can turn something harmful into like a great thing.
True.
So,
okay, that's great. I love it. Okay, so we've got some definitions. I feel really good about what we've talked about so far, and I understand it more. And I got my own new understanding of the difference between motivation and inspiration. So thank you, because I always tied them together, and now I see the big difference. So that's really cool. And you guys heard it here first. Learning new things with Jay. So yay. Okay, so then why does it matter? So say we have a client who loves their motivational corn. Mm-hmm. So why does it matter if they continue to be addicted to it? It's not hurting them, is it?
Well, if you remember our deadline episode, you know that we're all on life's deadline, the ultimate deadline of death.
Yes.
And all of our dreams are on that deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And so every moment that passes by where you're not moving towards your dreams is kind of bad.
It's true.
So if an addiction to motivational porn or addiction to junk food or addiction to normal pornography is eating up moments that you could be moving towards your dreams, how good is that?
Oh, well, it's not. And so old me would have argued, but I'm immersing myself in the self-help world. I am improving my life with every concept. I am moving my dreams forward because I'm learning things. I'm learning things that are going to help me with my business like tomorrow or the next day or going forward.
Sure. And that's all reasonable to say. Those things need to be done, right? Everyone needs to learn sometime.
Yes.
But my question is, are learning and moving forward the same thing?
Ooh. Oh, great question. 5 years ago, I would have said yes. Learning is moving forward, but I know better. I know now that you can learn stuff and not apply it in your life and it doesn't move you forward.
Yeah, anyone who's been to school knows that. If you go to school and learn something, has that moved you forward?
No.
Yeah, that's why kids get annoyed at school. They're like, they know deep down, this isn't moving me towards my dreams. We're going to have calculators and computers and AI, and I'm not going to need this math. Like, I'm not going to need it.
Yeah.
They know. They can tell. They can feel it.
Well, that's why the boy dropped out, right? Because he is like, what am I doing? Like, what am I wasting my time here for?
Yeah. And you can always go back to school and learn it later or learn it online. But the point is, everyone needs to ask themselves, is what I'm learning here and now really moving me forward? Because when you watch motivational porn, maybe you do learn something. I don't know. Maybe you are immersing yourself in the self-help world, but there's a true answer in your soul and in your heart as to whether or not what you're doing right now is moving you towards your dreams or not. We all have an internal compass guiding us. We know we have that deadline, that death is hanging over us, and we can tell if something is moving us towards our dreams or thwarting our dreams and keeping us held back from our dreams. And it feels bad.
Even though that feels good, though. No, not what you said, the like watching those videos. So I remember sitting at my desk, like watching it, like doing art, because at the time I was painting a lot. I'm painting or whatever, and watching it on the side and like feeling good that I was learning these things, right? Like if like that I had, these are concepts that I had never heard about before. I had never heard anyone talking. I mean, even though I had been in therapy for years, there was not a lot of talk about this kind of stuff. So
yeah, I get it. And so your brain and your ego were like, we're better than we were yesterday.
Yeah.
We have learned new knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. And it feels good to learn new knowledge.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that are the same, like these people that have these giant lists of books of that they've read.
Yeah.
Not even, well, yeah, I was going to mention that.
I love learning new knowledge. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like a prime candidate for motivational porn.
Yeah, but you do things differently, because you'll read a chapter or you'll get to an idea or an exercise or one concept. It could be a sentence in the book, and you will stop and you will apply the thing that you learned.
I do now, but I didn't always.
Okay. Well, yeah. So you also enjoyed the more motivational porn.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that is just a step in the entrepreneurial journey? Because a lot of us go through that in the beginning.
Just like no one has to go through a pornography phase, and no one has to go through a junk food phase. I don't think anyone has to go through a motivational porn phase.
No, right? They don't have to, right?
But it's likely. It's common.
Yeah, it is common.
Right. So that's why I admit it. Like, yeah, I've done it too. My point is, was I learning? Like that quick hit of dopamine to my brain and my ego that says, ha, I have learned something new. I'm better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually moving me forward. Like, what if someone hits 90 on their deathbed and they look back at all their dreams and they're like, what did I spend my time doing? Well, I kept getting quick hits of dopamine because I kept getting more knowledge. And now my brain knows so many things. Even though I'm 90 and I've accomplished nothing, I am trivia expert. I know everything. Like, is that moving you towards your dreams? Like, the question is, does learning something new automatically equal forward motion, or can learning something new actually be holding you back from your dreams?
I think learning something new could possibly hold you back from your dreams. Yes. It's possible.
Oh, it's not just possible. It's likely. Look at the most successful people in the world who've accomplished all their dreams. Most of them are dumb. Like, they're not that smart.
It's so true.
They don't know a lot. They don't know a lot of things. They haven't filled their brain with a ton of trivia and information. They don't know anything outside of their field. They learn what they need to move forward, and that's it.
Yeah.
They're very efficient with their learning. They learn a few things and then they hire people. They learn a few things and they move their dream forward. They learn a few things and then they get back to their life or family or relationship. They learn a few things and then get back to their career. They are very action-oriented, hands in the clay, let's move forward kind of people. And they don't have time. They don't think about learning all this stuff. They're not indulging in all of the extra fluff. And they clearly don't have the attitude of, the more I learn, the better I am. And I can't wait to be 90 and know all the trivia.
Right.
They have a different attitude, which is, I learn what I need to move my dreams forward, and I disregard the rest. They're focused.
So yeah, you'll do that too. Actually, you will read a book and we'll get to parts that are like, I know this, I've read this, I know, like, I don't have time to waste on reading the same thing. I already know this information from another author. I don't need it from this author repeated. And you'll skip chapters, which is refreshing because I'm do similar now, because I just want the golden nugget that's buried in the 300 pages, you know? And so this is another reason why we wrote our book, Eyes Wide Open, Volume 1. It's the world's first self-help coffee table book.
Yep, and it's short and punchy and impactful, and it gets right to the point on every page. And it's only 27 pages.
That's right. And you can get it at eyeswideopenfree.com, your free PDF copy, because we like short and punchy things just like this ad.
Yeah, we're focused and we get right back to the goodness, like to moving our dreams forward, to providing value. And so if you look at all of the people you look up to, they didn't have time for motivational porn and they didn't read every single book under the sun. They might have huge libraries, but I guarantee you they've only read the ones that move their dream forward.
Well, Warren Buffett didn't spend 5 hours a day reading until he was super rich.
There you go.
He only learned what he needed to know. What? Sorry.
Yeah, he was off moving his dreams forward.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we get back to the question, does learning something new from a video or a book automatically move your life forward? Or can it be a harmful distraction?
It does not automatically move your life forward, and it can be a distraction, yes.
Yeah, and it's often a distraction.
I think it's often a distraction, more often a distraction than not.
Yeah, there you go. So am I so great for learning all these things and knowing all this stuff? Maybe it's held my dreams back.
Maybe, but what if it helps move your dreams forward?
Well,
so I'm currently working on clearing my root chakra and learning about feeling secure in myself and stable in myself, my body, and my life, because to me, this will help move my dreams forward. I'm not spending all day reading it and learning about it. I'm not spending hours and hours like I used to consume content like that. I would have to spend hours and hours. I just want to get through it and get to the point so that I can feel better about this and have a more successful business.
Sure. I love it. I love learning things fast and then applying them fast and getting the benefit fast and then moving on and moving forward on my dreams. If you're learning things that benefit you and move your life forward and move your dreams forward, I'm all for it. Of course, everyone you look up to also does that. It's more about the balance and the discernment. What is your balance of learning versus applying? What is your balance of learning versus moving forward? What is your balance of learning fluff versus learning real shit that matters? What is your balance of learning for quick dopamine hits to your ego because it makes you feel like a smarter person and learning to actually accomplish your dreams? The balance can't be off. The balance can't be screwed up, right? You need a healthy balance of that. And if it's off, you'll see in your life, you'll be like, well, what have I done with my life? Well, I read 1 million books this year. That's awesome.
Yeah. Unless you're that Oliver, the book reviewer guy who's teaching himself how to read. Like
Oliver James.
Oliver James. Unless you're him, it doesn't matter that you read 100 books in a year. So yeah, this makes sense. Okay. So I have a question. Mm-hmm. Can you give us an example of when you recently have read something and applied it, what it was and how you applied it?
Sure. Just yesterday, I think.
Okay.
I was reading some root chakra stuff for you on security and safety and stability, and I realized I could use a boost in that too. Why not? And so I just immediately applied the exercises and did the affirmations, and I started making notes and charting out all of the aspects or symptoms of unbalanced and insecure root chakra stuff and applied it.
And after you did the work, that mm-hmm. stuff, did you notice a difference in your feelings, your security?
Yeah. As soon as I did that, a client contacted me and straightened out some wire transfer details, and we were on the same page regarding the funds, and I felt more secure.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, whatever, you apply something and practice something, and it should get your results. But what's the point?
Well, what's really funny is because you sent me a video with some affirmations and before the call, before our podcast, while I was getting ready, I popped it on because I thought, well, I just want to hear what they're saying. Right. And as I was doing stuff and cleaning up and moving things around, I started to say the affirmations. Right. And as soon as I was done and I sat down to talk to you, I got a text and I manifested stability in food and money today because I wasn't sure about where things were going today, and immediately got money and food options right after. And then you telling me your client thing also helps with my stability. So it's really interesting that as soon as we applied, how things made us feel better and things manifested into our life to help with that. So yeah, I think that's really cool.
Sure. The other day I read something on headlines and I immediately applied it by writing 10 different headlines.
I love this. And when you applied and wrote the 10 different headlines, did you learn something new? Did you move something forward?
Yeah. So the concept, the headline concept was contrast and polarity. And so out of the 10 headlines, one of them had a higher contrast and more polarity. And that's the one we went with. So
yeah, nice. Well, I wanted to show the example of how it can be used right away, because for those who don't have any practice and don't have Jay there to hold their hand or Cyn there to like point it out for them. So I thought it would be nice for us to show a few examples. So thank you.
Sure. This is one way to get value out of motivational corn, because if you do learn something or hear something, it's completely in your power to sit down and apply it somehow, physically, tangibly in your life, or energetically, or however you want to approach it. You can apply it and get benefit from it and value from it. The same way you could watch actual pornography and then use it to have a discussion with your mate or your partner, or you could use it to surprise your partner with a fun new thing, or learn something new about them, or surprise them and learn they hate it. But either way you can apply it and actually move forward from it. It's possible if you do. Or you can let it be empty calories, empty fluff for your eyes, empty dopamine hits, easy dopamine that distracts you from your overall purpose, mission, and growth.
I like the comparison to the junk food, because this like puts an automatic image in people's mind of what it really means and what it is, because it really is junk food of the self-help world, right? Because we are surrounded by people who make incredible content. There's lots of great stuff out there. There's stuff that's super inspiring. People's telling their story and really helping people. And even our own podcast, if you go through our episodes, we really do our best to give people ways to apply what you teach, the way you taught me. And so a lot of people into personal development are into fitness. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I think it's a really great way to get people's attention onto what it really is in the world. Well, at least on Twitter, they're all talking about getting jacked and whatever. So the junk food thing is good. So what about the people who really like being entertained by the motivational content? I know there's a good amount of people who find it entertaining and they watch it for the entertainment value. Do you think they're getting anything out of it? Like actual, I know it's junk food. We just had the conversation, but maybe they don't have a business. Maybe they're not like quite ready to pull the trigger. Do you think they're getting any kind of value whatsoever out of it other than entertainment?
Yeah, well, like I said, the value is what you make of it, right? Are they applying it? Are they balancing their learning with moving forward? Are they doing things in the correct timing, in the correct order for them? Or are they giving into autopilot behaviors, zombie behaviors, programmed behaviors from society? Are they aware and present and consciously choosing what they're doing? Are they going through routines? Every step forward that you make in life takes both input and output.
Okay.
It takes both feminine and masculine energies.
Okay. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it just does. If you want to create some art, you have to first take some input or inspiration from the world around you, from the environment. Like something has to inspire the art. You can't be in a vacuum with zero input and create a whole giant universe.
Well, yeah, this is why people want to have a story, a juicy story,
sure,
to sell, because without it, they don't have really, without the input, you can't have an output. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to build a house, you needed the input of seeing crappier houses or being homeless or not having shelter or something, or the input of government taxes bothering you and you want to go off grid or whatever. Like there must be some input as well as some output for every step forward you take in your life. There's no point avoiding this.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, now the balance of input and output is different for every person and every step at every moment and every time and so on.
Right.
So anytime I want to create something great, I always go through a process called RISC, RISC. I think we've mentioned it in some other episodes.
Yes, it's one of my favorite concepts.
Yeah, which is research, inspect, steal, or imitate, and create.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice the first two steps are very input focused.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, it's the feminine energy of creation, the feminine side of creating something, the feminine side of moving forward in life.
Right.
And that side is to receive a lot of input into my brain, like consume a lot of things, research a lot of things, inspect a lot of things until I know what's out there in the world, until I'm familiar with all the ideas that have come before. And only then do I start the output phase, where I start copying people's stuff and imitating them. Oh, they wrote a good headline, I'm going to write a good headline. They made a good thumbnail, I'm going to make a good thumbnail. Like, they use AI, I'm going to try using AI. It doesn't mean it's going to be my ultimate creation, but it's my copying phase, my imitating phase. As kids, we all learn to do this. We take input from the people around us, and then we copy them. So we're eventually going to have our own speech and our own accent and our own vocabulary and so on, and we're going to have our own original thing, but it comes through copy.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why everything's a remix.
Right. So kids research, inspect, and steal, right? They go through the input phase, the feminine phase of consumption and receiving ideas and input, and then they switch to the copying, the stealing, and the original creation. Like, finally the actual, like, I'm going to create this, or this is how I'm going to talk. Like, they finally come up with their original expression by going through these phases. But what happens if you spend a year straight just taking input, watching motivational porn, studying the gurus, reading the books with the self-help, and like for a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years? Then you've never moved to the output phase. You've never moved to the masculine, let's take action and create something now phase. You've never done the copying and the original creation steps. The point is, this is a common thing that a lot of us fall into, but if you want to create well in life, you need to get the balance of input and output correct for you. And if you get it wrong, your life's going to be on hold for a long time. Your dreams are going to be on hold for a long time, because you've been overemphasizing one side of the creation or the other. You've been overemphasizing consumption and receiving and inspiration and ideas, or you've been overemphasizing output and creation and action and creating. Like, obviously, if you overemphasize one of these, you're going to suffer.
True.
So anyone out there who is indulging in motivational porn, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or bad or good, but you better know the balance for you, because if you're consuming it when you should be moving your dreams forward or taking action or creating something, you're going to suffer. Or if you're forcing yourself to hustle and grind when you should be taking a step back and learning about the world and getting more inspiration and listening and creating space to inspire you and create something new, then you're going to suffer too. Like, you can't get the balance wrong. In life, when you walk with your left leg and your right leg, like in the beginning, if you got the balance wrong, you would suffer. You would fall, you would stumble, and it would hurt. And only when you get the balance right are you able to navigate through life and walk properly and succeed and start taking your life to where you want to go. You can navigate the world once you get the hang of walking. But man, if you don't have the balance right, good luck. You're in for a world of pain.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And so most people don't balance their masculine and feminine sides in most areas of life. They screw it up in business, they screw it up in relationships, they screw it up in creativity or creation, they screw it up in learning and study. Like, they just have the wrong balance most of the time.
So that makes total sense, and I appreciate that. And I think mine has definitely been off balance, my input and output.
Mine too.
And that's a great way to talk about it too, is the input and output, because we need input for output. But if we have a buildup of input and zero output, this is where things feel wonky and weird. And so I totally understand that, because I've actually lately been feeling off on that. I'm getting a lot of input and I'm not really putting out very much. The output I am putting out is stuff we've already have, and I'm not really talking about myself, and I feel like hiding myself a little bit, and so because of that, it's my output is way less. I mean, there's other ways around that. I'm just being silly, but I didn't even think about it until now, and so that makes sense why I feel off, because there's too much input and not enough output. So thank you. This is really helpful. I love when I one of those moments on the podcast. To me, it's incredible, and hopefully helps other people, because man, I didn't even consider why I was feeling off about it and why I was feeling bad, and it was starting to cause some anxiety. And so this leads me to another question. How does motivational porn affect your mental health?
Yeah, well, anxiety is a natural result
Yes.
if your input and output are off balance. If you're just binging chips all day long and you're not working out or being active or contributing labor into the world, that imbalance is going to have a lot of negative results. You're going to feel anxious and not satisfied with your physical appearance or your body feeling and awareness or your weight or or whatever.
Right.
Like that's a result of the imbalance. Maybe you should balance that. Either cut back on the chips or get more active. It seems like a good win. There are the world's strongest men who are gobbling down 2 packs of eggs and 2 packs of sausages, but they're doing the work of 10 men. Like,
yes.
So it's balanced. So okay. If you allow the balance of input and output to be off, there will be some negative results in your mental health and your physical health. There will be negative results in your relationship or your career or some other important area of life, your family or something. You just can't binge motivational corn all day long and expect life to serve you up any kind of good results. Unless maybe you were like the Siskel and Ebert of motivational corn, right?
Well, I gotta say, this conversation, well, this conversation is inspiring me to balance my output, and it's not quite a motivational corn topic, but it's the input output thing for me. And so while I don't input a lot of motivational content, I've just been inputting a lot of business stuff and marketing and a lot of the root chakra stuff and food and inputting a lot of things and not really outputting much. So this whole thing, this conversation, the words you just said inspired me to fix that. So as soon as we get off of this call and as soon as we finish filming and we say our lovely private goodbyes, I will be working on this. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I love when you teach me and help me and move my stuff forward, especially on the podcast where other people can see and hear. It's part of the journey for me. You guys get a glimpse of what I go through living with Jay and working with him all the time. And we're not side by side right now, but we will be again soon. And this is one of the reasons why, because you are super inspiring. You are life-changing. The things that you have helped me with are amazing. And this whole journey is on the podcast to help other people. Because if you watch the first episode and you come and watch this one or the last one, you can see the big changes in me. So you are amazing and incredible. Thank you so much. I know that I kind of cut you off there, but I was so excited and so inspired to share. So I apologize for the cutoff, but thank you. You're the best. You really are.
You're amazing too.
Okay. So I didn't have any more questions about motivational corn, but I don't want to finish because I know there's more to it that I didn't think about. And so was there another angle that you can see that I can't right now that we can discuss? Because I got excited about input output. And so it kind of threw me off where we were going.
I got it. So that's great. You can get the input output balance wrong anytime. You could be reading all day long about femininity, but not apply any of the femininity teachings. You could not work on your body. You could avoid makeup. You could avoid cooking. You could avoid divine feminine meditation or whatever you're learning. Like if you're learning something, soft selling in business or something like this, you could learn about it all day long and then not express it and not apply it and not practice it. And then you just killed the whole balance. You're going to go to your grave knowing about femininity, never actually living it, embodying it, or realizing it in your life. You will not move towards your dreams in that area. You could read about fitness and health all day long, study high intensity training, calorie deficits, metabolisms, all kinds of stuff, and then sit on the couch forever and not apply any of it. And so it's not just motivational corn where this issue happens. Motivational corn is just one common example of it.
Fair enough.
But this does not mean that motivational corn is bad. No information is bad. No ideas are bad. They're just ideas. Your imagination is free to think of them and explore them at any time. I could explore some super, super terrible ideas right now. Let me think about the genocide of a planet or wiping out the entire universe because there's no point to existence or whatever, like some nihilistic thing. There, I just thought of them, right?
Right.
Ideas. Yeah. Is the world ending? Am I a terrible person? Are these ideas the worst thing ever that ever existed, should we just hate on them all?
No.
Judge them, label them? Like it's fine. It's whatever. I don't want to indulge them, and I don't want to explore them too long or create them in a reality. But as ideas and information, they're neutral to the universe.
Right.
The universe is great with beautiful suns, and the universe is great with giant black holes that suck everything in. So there's nothing wrong to me with actual pornography or with junk food existing on planet Earth or with motivational corn. They are creations someone made, and they're allowed to exist. And value can be gained from them if you're careful, if you keep your balance right. And so, like I said, a lot of the comments in those videos are actually people feeling transformed or uplifted or making actual permanent life changes. I don't think it's common. I think most people who view them are just on autopilot, binging fluff motivation.
Right.
But 5 or 10 or 20 or 100 or 1,000 people or whatever may have actually gotten quite a lot of value out of it. So I think of it as a child learning to tie their shoes. When a kid is struggling to tie their shoes, sometimes they need guidance and instruction on how to tie the shoe correctly. And once they're given that, they will practice it and get the hang of it and be thrilled and satisfied. But if you've ever seen a super frustrated, tantruming, sad, disappointed, discouraged kid who's fed up with tying the shoe entirely, the last thing that kid needs is instruction and guidance on how to do it right. It's not going to work.
It's true.
What they need is...
They need just love and kindness and
starts with an M.
Motivation.
Yeah, or starts with an I.
Inspiration.
Right. They need some inspiration because there are two phases of creating anything and moving forward in your life. There is the input aspect and there is the output aspect. And that despondent child doesn't need more output. They're exhausted from the output. They've been outputting all day and they're frustrated with it and whatever. What they need is a little input of love, a little input of inspiration, a little input of cheerleading. They basically need motivational corn.
Aww,
they're there,
that's
honey.
So nice. Yeah.
You're so amazing. You got this. I believe in you. You're the greatest person. You're my child. You're a Smith or a Johnson or whatever. Like, you're gonna crush this, and you don't have to do anything more today. I bet you're gonna start fresh tomorrow. You're gonna feel amazing. Just take care of yourself and love yourself. Oh, the kid's feeling so good and uplifted. And now maybe they're in a headspace where you can instruct them, or maybe tomorrow you can instruct them and they can try again. So that little pep talk was exactly what the kid needed at that time.
Right.
So pep talks are not bad.
Fair play. So
motivational corn on YouTube is not bad. It's basically an online pep talk. The problem comes when people get out of balance and they just binge pep talks all day.
Yes, when you're just getting pep talked all day long,
right,
and you're not doing anything about it.
What's the balance? Shouldn't it be a pep talk once in a while and mostly applying, like mostly tying your shoes?
Yes, 100%.
Mostly you're tying your shoes. So the balance is different for everything, but it usually leans more towards the output side. You only need a little bit of the input side.
That was going to be my next question. So, like, when you have... So I have an overabundance of input, right? But it should be less than the output, because the output is what moves you forward.
It's life.
Right. It's life.
It's your dream.
Forward. Yeah. So you're moving forward when you're doing the things, which is output. So it should be, just logically speaking, it should be more than your input anyway.
Absolutely.
Super helpful.
Yeah. You look at the movie critics I was talking about, Siskel and Ebert before. Well, I guess
when they were alive, whatever.
Yeah. Someone might say, oh, they watch so many movies. It's all input for them. But each review is like a novel. Like, they're crafting some kind of art. How many times are they reviewing it and drafting it and rewriting it? Like, if you look at their time spent, it was 5 hours watching 5 movies and then 20 hours reviewing the best one.
True. And writing it and filming it and there you go.
They spent 5 hours talking about it, 5 hours digging up quotes, 5 hours editing the video or the review.
Yeah.
5 hours drafting it, 5 hours redrafting it, sending it to beta readers, like whatever. I don't know. I guarantee you the balance for their dreams and their life was more output than input.
Yeah.
And they're an extreme example. And they're an extreme example because they need the input.
Yes.
So are you telling me you need more input than Siskel and Ebert to move forward in your dreams?
No.
Right. So the balance should be similar to them at the most.
Right. That's good. That's really, really helpful. Really, really helpful.
Now, maybe if you're a monk in Tibet or something, and your life goal is to receive inspiration and guidance from the universe or something, and show the world that stillness is a thing and austerity is a thing, and you can live a grateful life with very little output, then maybe in that case, the balance is okay to be more towards the input side.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that's a super rare case. Are you a Tibetan monk?
No,
Right.
I am not.
Are you trying to live austerity and show the world stillness?
No, I'm not.
Right. So, we get honest with ourselves about what the balance should be. And generally, it's a bit of input, a bit of a pep talk, and then back out into life, crushing it, creating things, expressing yourself, like moving and shaking, reaching people, touching people.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
What about the people who make the motivational porn?
What about them?
So these people have to know. I mean, we can only guess. We don't know them. There's a lot of people who make it.
Just hold on. What if you rephrase your question to, what about the pep talk givers?
Oh, oh, that's a different question. Yes.
But is it though? It's the same question.
No, but it sounds different because, okay, so when you first said it, the image that I had when I asked the question, the image I had was some guy just making videos, right? And then when you rephrased the question, what about the people who make the pep talk videos? I have the image of a coach in my head with the whistle blowing. This is a much different image and a feeling that I had when I thought it was just some person making a video.
Yeah, or a parent pep talking their kid.
Yeah. So, okay. So then my question was just mostly about your opinion, right? Because we don't know the answer. We won't know the answer. Do you think the people that make these things, do they make it with the intent, or they know that that they're just going to get views? Or do they maybe deep down inside want to help people and don't know how?
It's just like normal pornography. Some people make it because they love celebrating the human body, and they're exhibitionists, and they came to Earth to do that, and they want to show people healthy intimacy, and they love sharing their art. And some people make it to churn out a buck, and it gets clicks, and they just slap stepdaughter on the title, and they're off to the races, and you can tell they're phoning it in, and it's just fluff, right? There are healthy pep talks from a parent to a kid, and there are people-pleasing pep talks where you just say what your girlfriends want to hear, even though you know it's not going to help them.
Ooh, okay, fair enough. Fair play.
How many girlfriends give pep talks to their friends on every topic under the sun when what their friend really needs is guidance, instruction, honesty, and truth?
Almost every one of them.
Right, and they know it's not going to help them, but it feels good. It's a dopamine hit. It keeps the peace. They're a good friend, and the friend goes away happy, and la-di-da, and everyone's still stuck in the same loop. On the other hand, if that same person gives a pep talk to their frustrated child once every couple months or whatever when they need it and they're down about something, maybe that's totally healthy and a great thing to do.
Yeah, fair play.
Right.
Fair play.
So
Okay.
there are good, healthy pep talk givers, and there are shady, phony pep talk givers.
Right. I really can't know, but that's a really good point. So thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, and you might be able to know.
I think the quality of the person who is the coach and who's blowing the whistle, like the image I had, this person is going to make, I think, a motivational porn video that's going to be, more valuable and maybe has some bits of wisdom in there, not just, hustle, motivate. You know what I mean? What's his name? The hip hop preacher guy.
Eric Thomas.
He does a lot of motivational porn, but he also inspires the crap out of you. Like, his story is super intense. He has a similar story to you, except he was way younger than you when it happened to him. So it kind of hits a little differently. But also because he ties in the motivational porn to his message to help inspire people, right? And so that's interesting. Okay, so you can use it how you want. And I lost track again because I started thinking about input output. Like, I know way too much about that man because I watched hours.
Yeah, but did it serve you? Did it help you? Like, was it moving you towards your dreams to do all that?
No, at the time, no.
Yeah, so all good. Then you live and you learn, and you know that I binged that and I shouldn't have. Like, no binge. I love Eric Thomas. When I was homeless, his "Do you want it as bad as you want to breathe?"
Yeah, like, I remember that
speech with the explosions in the sky song in the background was my go-to. It was in my playlist, and I listened to it, and it helped me get through some hard homeless days and nights, and it meant a lot to me. But it was just a pep talk. Like, it didn't really teach me anything or give me guidance or instruct me in any real way. It was the equivalent of giving a frustrated kid who's done with tying his shoes a fresh start and breathe new life into him and let him try again. It was a pep talk.
Yeah.
It's for me. Anyways, I know there are people in the comments who are like, this speech changed my life, and literally I became a better human. So be it. Maybe I didn't apply it well enough. Maybe I didn't get the right message from it. Maybe it could have inspired me or should have inspired me. Maybe I just wasn't ready or receptive at the time. I don't know. But he put a lot of heart into that video, and it lives on YouTube, and it's touched a lot of people, and I was one of them, and it touches them in different ways.
Yeah.
And now I'm welcome to go binge more of his stuff and live on his pep talks, or I'm welcome to take what I got from that and start moving my life forward, or I'm welcome to any kind of blend of in between, or go find other people or whatever, right? Everyone gets their own choice about how they approach junk food, how they approach pornography, and how they approach motivational porn. And none of them are bad. All of them have value, but it is all in how the individual approaches them. And you've got to know for you what that approach is.
That's good. That's good. That was some fire right there. Mm-hmm. Well, you've had fire this whole episode. As usual, another amazing episode. The whole thing was really good. You blew me away a few times, teaching me new things. Still, we are 5.5 years together this month. And I'm still learning and learning and learning every day from you.
Yeah, just be careful you don't learn too much.
Well, I'm learning and moving things forward, especially now after today. I have been inspired to make sure that my output matches my input, or actually is more. I don't know if I can do all of it more in today, but we can move it forward and get it going. And so that's super important to me. I did want to say one more thing about Eric Thomas, though. Even though he makes a lot of motivational porn videos, he does it with the intent to inspire. I can feel that behind all the stuff, right? And so I also have that in my playlist. I know the exact video you're talking about because it was one of the first self-help personal development things I found way before. I always say that I found Evan first, and yes, I did, but I also had like time where I was finding things here and there, and I didn't really classify it as learning self-help. And that video, I remember we were in New York City visiting, and I really wanted to move there, and I was listening to that video in the bathroom in the hotel and thinking, I have to find a way to make my dream come true and move here. And I did. It took me a year, but I did. I got there a year later, and I think you can feel the intensity behind what he wants to do, the desire to inspire and not just pep talk people. So even though it was a pep talk for me too, I know his desire is for people to be inspired and do the things.
Yeah, I know. Just like a parent giving a pep talk to a kid. Yeah. It is a valuable, loving thing that can really change that kid's life.
And if
I'm not against it.
No, not me either. And if I found that video today, it would inspire me and not motivate me now because of who I am and what I've learned, that I can take something that precious, because that's an amazing video. Mm-hmm. And I would be inspired to move things forward. So yeah, I totally get that. And I love that we have that in common. We never talked about that before. It was that same video inspired or motivated or whatever. We both used it in a time that we needed it. That's cool. I love that. Well, thank you so much for all the eye-opening concepts and ideas today. And thank you so much, as usual, for you helping me see something in a new way, teaching me new things. And now, after we get off the phone here or off the call, I am going to move my output forward. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much. I just have one more question. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with our amazing and wonderful audience?
Yes, respect all the creations out there. The world is full of creative human beings, and they are all creating different things, including motivational porn. And those creations are a blessing. They're valuable. They are something in the world that did not exist before. Now, not every creation is going to be for you. The world's a giant buffet, and no one's going to eat every food in the buffet. You got to find what you like. And you might not like motivational porn. It might bother you. That's fine. You can avoid it. You might love motivational porn, and you might love it too much, and you might binge it and hold your life back and stop moving towards your dreams as you devote all your time, energy, and attention to the motivational porn. Most people are somewhere in between. Either way, you got to find your healthy balance, because the motivational porn is the input that's going to uplift you a little bit or inspire you or motivate you or spark you or whatever you call it. And then it's on you what you do with that. Once you have the input, it's up to you what you output from it. You can create awesomeness inspired by that motivational porn, or you can create a binge of more motivational porn from that motivational porn. Hopefully, everything Cyn and I have discussed today has given you insight and enlightened you on the whole situation so that you can make a wise, informed decision that truly takes you forward to your dreams. You got this.
And that's why our book and this podcast are called Eyes Wide Open. After today, you'll know how to navigate motivational porn and how to inspire yourself, hopefully. So go to this video here called What the F is Life Coaching to help you inspire yourself for a better life and to help you keep your eyes wide open.
Keep rising.